let's do a little conversation about downy mildew. So, first of all, you are not going to avoid downy mildew. I'm just going to put it out there. It's just the truth of the matter. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's true. Downy mildew exists in the air. There is no avoiding it. There is no water system that is going to make it easier. There is no amount of anything that will make it better. Sure, you can use fungicides. You can do all that. And you're asking, Megan, why? Why are you telling me this? Because you're not a failure if you get downy mildew. I get it all the time in my garden. Really, because there's a lot of concentrated plants. There's nothing wrong with it. But even if my plants were separate, even if there was more space, I'd still get it. Here's why. The reason is that it exists in the air. There's no avoiding it. You can't cover your plants to avoid it. You can't, nothing. Okay? It's gonna come. It's gonna happen. And the best way to handle it is this. For instance, I have this beautiful squash plant. It is beginning to age. It's beginning to show its time is ending. It is also beginning to get downy mildew. This is normal. So what I'm going to do is in order to encourage the plant to keep living successfully, to limit the amount of it spreading, I'm going to remove those leaves. That's it. And I'm going to continue to do this as long as I possibly can to keep that plant going. Now, the other way to avoid it is to succession plant. You can go through your garden and, if you want to be harvesting squashes all the way till October, the broader your leaf on your plant, the more likely it is to get downy mildew onto its leaf. And then when the water splashes on it, it's going to spread to the other plants. So when we remove it, that's what happens, is we limit the chance that it's going to move around. But when we have a brand new fresh plant, its opportunity to obtain downy mildew is much lower. So we can just succession plant things such as beans and squashes, cucumbers, all those things until the end of our days that we get to garden. And that's really all we can do. Now, if you get downy mildew, the best practice is to take that plant, don't compost it. Anytime, that's a good rule of thumb, anytime you have a plant that has any sort of fungus on it or has had any sort of pest that is like a squash bug or anything like that, the best thing is to put it into a fire and burn it. It sounds crazy, but it kills everything that could potentially spread. And then you can spread those ashes in your yard, under trees, things like that, where there's safe spaces that those ashes can decompose naturally. But you won't be spreading the fungus around. So I say this because it's normal. Now, there are different viruses that we're going to be seeing right now. Now, there's other ones. There's the natural fading of a plant. So let me show you that. This bean plant, which we showed some beans last week. Let me come around the onions here. These plants, actually I can go this way. These plants are beginning to fade. You see this? This is signs of aging. Bean plants usually mature within 60 to 70 days typically. So it's not abnormal to be seeing them turning leaves. This does not mean you necessarily have a fungus. Now, you're probably asking, Megan, but I got this like funny looking spots on my squash plants. Squashes are going to have some variations in their leaf structure. It is very normal depending on the variety. For instance, this plant, this is natural. That is part of the plant's growing process. Now, let me show you downy mildew. Okay, we're gonna come over here. Where is it? Right here. See those spots? That's the beginning of downy mildew. So this is when I would say, the rest of this plant is super healthy. I see like 2 or 3 leaves. It's got some issues. I'm going to remove it. Now, we're going to see another one. Okay, so here's another very common thing, particularly on your cucumbers, is it looks sort of like that. This is brown leaf spot, and really all you can do, I got a spike in my thumb. All you can do is remove the leaves and then take the same approach as you took with downy mildew. I don't spray anything. I don't do it. The reason being is that I don't think it's necessary. The growing season and the longevity of these plants is not long enough for me to believe that I need to do something that can be harmful or be hurting other natural funguses that are in the garden that are really important. So My belief is remove the plant, continue to plant. It's that simple. Now, we are too late in the game to be planting much other than maybe things that are going to mature within 60 days. That's about all you got. So don't feel discouraged if you're finding these things in the garden. They don't mean you failed. They don't mean the end of the world. They don't mean any of that. I have it. I embrace it. The one place that it drives me the most crazy is on my bee balm plants. I'm going to show you that one. Because right now it's actually spreading to my cosmos. And some of this is just part of it. And I want you to know, I overhead water. So sure, you could say, Megan, you're causing this problem, but it's not true. After working on a farm, I learned that even farmers who drip line get downy mildew. I saw it all the time in the fields. We'd rip it out, get rid of it, start over again. And it happens. We would encourage that plant to grow as long as possible and then we'd be done with it. And then we'd have a whole nother round of plants coming. So here's my downy mildew covered bee balm. And it happens. The newer leaves have less of it. The further down, we have more of it. And it's spreading to some other plants. It's all normal. It's all okay. I have lost a few plants to it. But you can see maybe that it's affecting this cosmo. It's starting to get some of it down here. This doesn't surprise me. It's not freaking me out. It's not telling me that I've done something wrong. It's just part of the process of growing things in the great outdoors. So I don't want you to feel that you have, you need to do anything more than what I just explained. Just make sure you clear your bed properly. We'll talk more about this as we get closer to fall or deeper into fall and things. I'm also going to be doing a video that talks about the browning of plants and how that's normal, okay? Aging is part of our garden's process. We must trust it, just like aging as a human. So I hope this is helpful. I'm always here to make you feel more confident, and I hope this makes you feel confident because it's just part of it.